Hi, this is, I better talk to the microphone. Rachel Stewart, you're with Riding Shotgun. Hello, welcome back. We had so much feedback about my grief, what not to say in grief 2 weeks ago, after I informed viewers that my 25-year relationship had ended. And talked about how that felt, and it's obviously another form of grief. It's not death, but it's in some ways, I wouldn't say worse, but it's somebody walking around on the planet every day that you used to be with that doesn't want to be with you anymore for whatever reason, and you don't really understand it. And so there's a lot of grief around that stuff. But anyway, I got so much feedback from people that I wanted to share it with you. And it's more than a mailbag, frankly. It's really more of a uh, grief brief, we'll call it. I wanted to make a podcast out of it solely. There'll be a clip in here too for you. But because there were so many great responses, and obviously a lot of people were having trouble in life with grief. We all do. It's obviously part of life. But I wanted to read some to you. They're just so good. Help me reading some of them. And that's the point, I guess. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to read some out um, for you. And thank you to everybody for their responses. I really appreciate the effort that everyone's put in. I've got my cup of tea. Okay, very helpful, Rachel, and apt as I'm currently in this space. I think the space she means is the grief space. Maybe lost a relationship, don't know. I particularly valued the info about practical grievers and everyone else. Well done and condolences for your loss. Thank you, Catherine. Gillian says, thank you for focusing on grief. Interesting recording on the discussion about types of grief. What I've learned about grief is that how we grieve is as individual as we all are. It's true. There is no time frame. Bereavement leave from employment is almost a joke, stipulating how much leave one can have depending on the relationship. Coming together when there is a death is healing, funeral or memorial service, or even an informal event. To my surprise, grief can surface years after the event. Yeah. If you don't deal with it, that's clearly what happens. There is some, well, I mean, and then the thing is, how do you deal with it? You don't know if you're doing it right or not. There is some grief that I've learnt is within me all the time. I think that's true for me too. There's a lot of sadness there, even when I'm not officially grieving. If I tap into the memories, I've learned to accept this as healing. It makes me realize how much I love the individual, and I'm grateful to feel this as the relationship had a lot of pain and no tangible love at the time. The memories help me see the love. Thanks, Gillian. My heart goes out to you. This is from My heart goes out to you. I'll read it. That might be the way to go. I suffered 3 major losses in quick succession. It took almost 20 years to work through that grieving process since it was so compounded. I withdrew from social contact because people would ask just how things were going, just to make conversation, and I just didn't know what to say. It hurt so much that I avoided situations where I would even be asked. I understand that. While I secluded myself, I devoted myself to a constructive project. So at the end of the time, I had a product I was very proud of, but that didn't help me get through the grieving process any faster. I learned that I really should have talked about my losses more because that would have helped get over the grieving process faster. You've made a good start with talking about it and riding shotgun. Let me encourage you to keep talking about it even though it hurts. That way you may find your way out the other end of the grieving process sooner. Regards, Janita. Somebody told me a story a couple of days ago and I found it interesting. A friend of a friend decided to grieve, or maybe it's a story they heard on the internet. I don't know. They lost a relationship or a lover or a partner through death. I think went to the Great Wall of China, always wanted to do it, walked it. Everybody she saw on the Great Wall of China and got talking to, she told about her heartbreak. By the end of the Great Wall of China, she didn't want to talk about it anymore. So I guess there's something in that. Maybe I'll go to the Great Wall of China. Okay. Joanne says, hi, Rachel. You've articulated the personal trauma of grief so well. So very sorry to hear of your relationship loss. I can feel your pain in your words. Grief is the price we pay for love, Queen Elizabeth. Kindness regard. Actually, I think it was Aristotle who said that in a different kind of way, but the Queen took that and abbreviated it, abridged it, and came across really well. Araha says, I'm sorry for what you're experiencing at present, and everything in your piece is spot on. What helped the most for me was to scream and rage loudly, and to hell with the neighbours. I mean, the neighbours are a real deterrent, but doing it was wonderful. Okay. All right, thank you. So sorry to hear you were experiencing such a hard time coming to terms with a partner who has decided they want a different life. Yeah, and I think that's really about it. Um, 25 years is a long time. Yes, it is. I feel your pain, especially coming from one tough cookie. Well, you learn, don't you? You think you're tougher than you are, but boy, grief's a leveler. Nothing is certain in this life except the promise of God. Fair enough. C.S. Lewis writes on the recurring horrors of loss in A Grief Observed. It's well worth a read. Yes, I haven't read that. I will. God bless you, girl. We'll keep you in my prayers, Francie. Thank you, Francie. Pam says, thank you for your courage in sharing your grief, your advice on what to say and what not to say. As I listened to you, I had several aha moments and more. Oh no, I've probably done that, said that as I've gone through life. Yes, you've got to be careful what you say to people grieving. Moving on. Ooh, don't move. The move on thing is just like, I'll move on from you, if you say it to me. To have a better understanding of the grieving process, Pam says, and associated feelings is invaluable. Thanks again for your insightful presentation. Kind regards, Pam. Thanks, Pam. I'm so sorry, Rachel. Winston Churchill said, if you're going through hell, keep going. One step at a time, or maybe one step forward, two back. But you need to take your time because only you know how you really feel. Thinking of you, Sylvia. Thanks, Sylvia. Krisha says, so wonderful that the RCR team back rested and positive, well, apart from me, of course. I'm so looking forward to the new year of interviews and information. However, this message is especially for Rachel Stewart. Rachel, and this is nice, it's really directed at me. It's sweet. I feel so honoured and privileged that you had the confidence in the wider RCR family to share your very personal experience of pain and grief. I'm very sorry that such a rotten thing has happened to you. You're in my thoughts. Yours sincerely. Thank you, Krisha. I appreciate it. Hi, Rachel. This is a long one. Very good, though, from Cass. Hi, Rachel. How very courageous to be so vulnerable and openly honest about where you are at right now. Got to say, I tried to record this an hour ago and I couldn't because I started crying. So halfway through, I had to stop. Then I had a cup of tea and a bit of toast and I felt a bit better. So I'm not that courageous. Well, I am. I'm crying's not uncourageous, is it? But anyway, I couldn't do it an hour ago. I'm doing it now. Many viewers will resonate with all that was said by you. I appreciate your trust and emotional intelligence, thank you, and the way you spoke so honestly from your heart. So helpful to hear the reality that we have amongst us practical grievers. Yeah, practical grievers. My husband is one of those, and a fair few of my friends and family also. And if you don't know what a practical griever is and you didn't see the first one, for context, it'll be in the description below. That was 2 weeks ago, called What Not to Say to Somebody in Grief. Learn all about practical grievers because, boy, they piss you off. My husband is one of those, and a fair few of my friends and family also. I am the complete and polar opposite of that. My grief is still here 14 years later. It has changed from seething anger, my little sister suicided very soon after her 40th birthday, to a lighter and more accepting calm now. 14 years, yeah. Tears come from nowhere, and it's like the release valve on a pressure cooker. I stuffed down all the unpleasant emotions and just got on with it. I was advised to do so by both my dear friend and also my husband, both obviously practical grievers. I had a baby to care for, was working part-time from home, and had a household to run, so it was a busy time in my life. The loss of my little sister to suicide is the toughest grief I've ever had to deal with, I'll bet. No one was angry. Everyone was so kind and understanding. So I kept my red hot fury to myself and shoved it way down inside. End result now is chronic pain and nervous system on high alert. So I'm learning to release the tears as they come, and also waves of unpredictable anger too. Swear my head off when I need to. My counsellor advised to swear rather than a recent incident of kicking a bag so hard I nearly broke my toe. Walks in nature and being around big old trees and watching swans on the lake does me the world of good. Also lying face up on the grass so I can gaze up to the sky and just let the ground soak up all my stress and tension. Yeah, that's a good one. It's pure bliss. Nature has proven to be incredibly healing. I also lost my dad a year after my sister and then my stepmom a couple of years after that, whom I adored. I'd have to say grief over my sister was a whole nother level. So I don't know if I'll ever be able to come to terms with it, but the intensity of emotions has eased noticeably over time. Now I'm 59 and my son is grown and my husband is busy working. I finally have the time and energy to feel all the emotions buried deep inside. Time didn't heal this for me, this suicide. My body just got more and more tense and upset and painful to live in. I'm currently taking a homeopathic remedy for grief to see if it helps ease the internal tension and horror at the way I lost my little sis. Normal death is accepted as a part of life. Suicide of my little sister is the most emotionally violent episode I've ever happened in my life and caused far too much collateral damage. I wish you peace and quiet and a private, nurturing space to grieve as it comes up for you. My advice is please don't stuff it all down like I did. Love and care for yourself and go so gently. You are your own best friend. May this pass and may the weight of your grief lighten and finally lift off completely. Excuse me. So you can step back into life and love refreshed and hopeful again. Yes, thank you, Cass. And I think, suicide, yeah, it's a whole other dimension, isn't it? And I feel for you, Cass. I really do. 14 years is a long time for that. And I don't think people realise what they can do to people when they suicide if they're loved. If they're not loved, probably doesn't matter. But if they're loved, this is the result. Sally says a very thoughtful piece. Well done for putting it together so well. Also, best wishes for your own journey. Thanks, Sally. So sorry to hear you've been going through this, Rachel. Relationship breakups truly suck. Yes, they do. Sending love and healing thoughts, Row. So sorry to learn of the grief. Now, who is this? Jenna. So sorry to learn of the grief you're dealing with. My nearly 39-year relationship marriage ended out of the blue for me. He'd obviously had it in mind for a while. Yeah. Mid 2015, and at age 58, it was the most traumatic thing that ever happened in my life. Well, I'm 63, and I can say this is the worst that I've ever felt. Anyway, I cried like never before for a year, 18 months, and absolutely wondered who I was and how on earth I and life would carry on. The hurt, rejection, and betrayal I felt were like nothing I've ever experienced before, and still surface to some degree whenever I think back to that time. My main coping mechanism was to talk it out and share everything with friends. Like it or not, they were dragged along for the ride as I unashamedly announced that I was not going to become sick by holding anything in. Yeah, it's interesting. Friends have a real tolerance level for it, though, don't they? 10 plus years on, I have obviously survived because someone much more true to myself, because become someone much more true to myself and grown in confidence, which was something that was totally destroyed and took time to rebuild. I still feel grief at times for what was, but for the most part, realize and accept that everything happens for a reason. And I certainly wouldn't be the person I am today uh, if I was still in the relationship. Assisted by my 33-year-old daughter remarking fairly regularly that she can't imagine her father and me being together now. Well, it's good that you've got your daughter. Cliche though it may be, time has definitely been the biggest player in my healing adjustment to single life, plus acknowledging and going with, not denying or suppressing all the different feelings: sorrow, hurt, anger, indignation, resentment. For me, confusion's probably the biggest at the moment, but it's only 5 months in, so. Wishing you all the very best as you navigate this huge change in your life. My heart goes out to you. Warmest regards, Janet. Thank you, Janet. Appreciate that very much. Okay, we're getting there. Kelly. Hi, Rachel. I just called up with your latest program and can completely understand where you're coming from and what you were going through. You are not alone. The love of my life left nearly a year ago and I went into complete shock, deep, deep grief, anger, and every other state in between. I cried every day for 4 months, and every time I thought I was making progress to move on, something would remind me of him, and then bam, it was like a death without a funeral. The comments about what not to say to people, I get it. E.g., being asked 3 weeks later why I hadn't got over it yet. What? I didn't realise I had so many unsubconscious thoughts about my future with him, and that hurt along with so much fear about my future being alone, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because, you just don't expect it. One minute you're looking at, well, just carrying on with your life and thinking you're with that person and will be till you die, and then next minute, nah. Thank you for posting up those clips about grief. That was really helpful. Everyone thinks I have moved on without my partner, but I've just stopped talking about him. No one is interested anymore. But I still hurt inside. I had a text and a letter within a week or so of him leaving saying he wasn't coming back. Now I don't know even if he's dead or alive. Huh. His last words were, keep in touch. I sent a Dear John letter email with both barrels. It took a couple of months to write. That was sort of helpful. Bet it was. But it seems time is the great healer. 1 year on, yes, I guess so. And 2025 went very fast. It all feels a lifetime ago, but at the same time, it's just the other day. I keep expecting him to turn up, probably blind hope, but I also now know I don't want him around anymore. With hindsight, we weren't such a great fit, but I worship the ground he walked on. I'm a semi-practical griever, but my reaction to his departure, and it surprised myself, was that I couldn't move beyond my half of the bed, and I wouldn't sit on the same sofa, and I stopped working in the garden for about 4 months. It had become his space, even though it was my place. The garden is still suffering, as it is very large, but that's fine. Nature takes care of the place. I always listen to your show. It's one of my favourites, along with Tim Wilms. Keep up the amazing work. Keep howling on your pillow and shoot a few targets. I have a slug gun and I'm getting much better at shooting the rats here. All the best for 2026. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate that. Sending love to you, Rachel. Animals often meet grief in more subtle ways than humans do. I hope you've a dog. I do. Cat or horse around? No cat, but horses around. Just don't have one myself. You are in my thoughts, no name. Okay, thank you. And Jackie says, hi, Rachel. Total shite you're going through, and my heart goes out to you. Thanks for sharing. I learned something today, one day at a time. And it definitely is. And that is what I got. And that's a lot. There's probably still more to come. I'll do it in another mailbag. But I'd say we'll be moving on to other things next week. I don't want to concentrate on grief forever. Just got to go through that. But I want to thank you all for checking in, taking the time, and love to everybody who's going through grief right now or in the past. And no doubt some of you got it in your future and you just don't know it yet. But we all go through it if we have a life and, a longish life. And I want to thank RCR too for being so understanding during this time for me. Haere rā, and here's a clip for you of Jim Carrey's quote, delivered by somebody else, because I couldn't find a clip of Jim Carrey saying it directly. So enjoy. See you next week. Thanks. Cheers. Bye.
And it's Jim Carrey once said, or this site attributes it to him. Grief is not just an emotion. It's an unraveling, a space where something once lived but is now gone. It carves through you, leaving a hollow ache where love once resided. In the beginning, it feels unbearable, like a wound that will never close. But over time, the raw edges begin to mend. The pain softens, but the imprint remains, a quiet reminder of what once was. The truth is, you never really move on, you move with it. The love you have does not disappear, it transforms. It lingers in the echoes of laughter, in the warmth of old memories, in the silent moments where you still reach for what is no longer there. And that's okay. Grief is not a burden to be hidden. It's not a weakness to be ashamed of. It is the deepest proof that love existed, that something beautiful once touched your life. So let yourself feel it. Let yourself mourn. Let yourself remember. There is no timeline. There is no right way to grieve. Some days will be heavy and some will feel lighter. Some moments will bring unexpected waves of sadness, while others will fill you with gratitude for the love you were lucky enough to experience. Honor your grief, for it is sacred. It is a testament to the depth of your heart. And in time, through the pain, you will find healing, not because you have forgotten, but because you have learned how to carry both love and loss together.